you don't need to be friends with the people on stage, like, or the people you've even invested in. Really just leaning into the people who are on the come up with you. It is like the ultimate networking hack. That's how I've gotten all my speaking opportunities. That's how I've gotten all my referrals. Like all of that has been focusing on building those relationships.
This is an absolute masterclass in how to network. It's the long game. Kristina, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here and happy to be here in person.
I know. Okay, so I'm really trying to figure out how we're going to not turn this podcast into a comedic show because I feel like whenever I'm with you, I either want to crack jokes, laugh at all of your jokes, or I just want to, it's like, it's so much fun to just drop in and be like girlfriends together. So I promise you guys, we are going to teach you things. But we might get sidetracked. We'll see.
We might laugh. My cheeks already kind of hurt. We've been together for 15 minutes. I'm like, my cheeks.
We've already had a morning, you guys, which is so much fun. But Kristina, I want everyone to know, like, actually how obsessed Chris and I are with you. I'm gonna start out with that because you are one of the people that, when people think of joining masterminds, I don't think they understand how much their world can truly change if they come into a mastermind really viewing it with how can I add value. And I would say that you are the epitome of, if I could explain how you're going to make yourself insanely successful by joining a community, you are the epitome of that. Like when I explain it to people, you're either the name that comes up or you're the person that I think of in my head. It's like the avatar of how you come into a community and how you build community. So we got to know you through Fast Foundations.
Yeah.
I would love for you, from your perspective, to kind of tell me where you were when you joined Fast Foundations first, because you guys, Kristina is insanely successful. She has her own company. She's a co-founder of 2 different companies. And I will tell you that, like, it all began because of how you show up in rooms in the community that you build.
Oh my gosh, Lori, thank you. Firstly, like, I always say this, and I've said this before, like when you were on my podcast, when I was here last, like, I would not be who I am without you and Chris. So I always give you guys the foundation. I'm like, Chris and Lori were my MBA. Like, honestly, just, I learned so much from Fast Foundations and onwards. From, I was in the mastermind and roundtable. I've done it all. Like I was saying today, I'm like basically like a Chris and Lori, like extended family member. I'm like, you know,
you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now. Yeah. I'm just,
you can't get out. It's a problem.
Yeah, no, everything. I even Taylor messaged me today. He was like, I can't believe you're in the US. So I'm not seeing you. I'm like, I know. I'm like,
Taylor's my brother.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I loved Fast Foundations and the way I kind of got into it. And this is actually such a great, segue, because I started listening to Chris's podcast. Someone I knew posted Chris's podcast and I was obsessed with his energy, right? Like you are, I'm sure. And actually the thing about Chris that I find the most surprising is that he is as high vibe, like IRL and like in his casual time, as he is in the like virtual online podcast
really is.
world.
People have asked me, they're like, is this real? I'm like, no, this is how he wakes up.
I'm telling you, so when I had the opportunity to go to your lake house, I literally, like, the amount of people that ask me, they're like, are Chris and Lori like the way they are like in real life? And I'm like, no, the exact same. Except Lori's funnier. Lori is like more fun.
Tell them.
I don't need to. They see it, but they know. But I was obsessed with his energy. And so it's so interesting because it's such an example of like when people podcast, over and over again, you're kind of like, does anyone listen to this? Like, who's going to buy this? Like, whatever. And he had said on this, he's like, this is the last round of Fast Foundations. You guys were running your online community at the time. And I had this feeling, we were in business about maybe 6 months. It was still a side hustle for me. I still had a 9 to 5. My business partner, Maria, I went to her and I'm like, okay, listen to this random man from Arizona's podcast. And he's running this program one last time. I think I should do it. And Maria was kind of like, if you want to do it, like, do it. I was like, I'll take my own pay and do it for it. Like, I'm like, I believe in it so much. I think that this is it. So I, make the investment, I go all in on it. And it was the like catalyst for not only like, doubling our business, tripling our business. We went, probably making $5,000, $10,000 a month to, within 3 years, we had built a 7-figure business.
It's so exciting.
And I still think Fast Foundations, I used to have a chart, I should reference it, but I still think Fast Foundations is the catalyst of the majority of the clients that we got. And I still get referrals from it, like years and years later. And I think the way that, I showed up in that room was, one, I think what's really important with any room you go into, but I think what was really important in that time for me was like, I was a sponge. Like I just wanted to learn from everyone, including you, Chris, Nick, but actually like my peers. And I think a lot of people join masterminds or get into rooms and they're like obsessed with the leaders. And I think the leaders set the tone, but I actually think it's like really the peers that are the magic. So I kind of, dropped in, was like, hey, I'd love to give people some like free social media advice. Like, let me know. And in a way it was selfish because I really wanted to meet people, but also I wanted to do market research. I needed to know these were my ideal clients. I never pitch anybody. People ask me for like pricing decks all the time. I'm like, you need to explicitly say to me that you want me to send you a follow-up email. Like I will not send it to you. But I would meet with people. I'd give them free advice. We would have these amazing conversations. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of info. And people always at the end would be like, well, how can we work with you or together? Or I have an intro for you or a collaboration. And so I was taking all the nuggets I was learning from, you and Chris and Nick. And I had a coach. Jim Carter was actually my coach in Fast Foundations, which is amazing. And I really was able to take all of that and then the connections to really use that to skyrocket my business. So I think the investment might have been like $3,000. I believe I've made millions off of it. I believe we always try to do the math on it, but truly just because of how amazing the quality of the people you attract is, but also I think our ability to get in there, make those great connections and try to build community.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So for anybody listening who's like, should I be joining a room? One thing that I think comes up for a lot of people is there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
How did you know what to join? Was it like a gut feeling or did you interview people who were in there? What were you looking for?
Yeah. It's funny. At the beginning, it was a gut feeling. For Chris, it was like, I binged this podcast. I listened to so many episodes of it. I was even the other day on my Spotify and I was taking out old episodes I never listened to. And I was like, oh, Chris and Lori, 2021. I'm probably fine on that
That's
one.
my year. Yeah.
So it's so amazing. That was it. I just had this feeling that this was right. And that actually is just such a reminder for people about free content and really adding value. And even when you're not sure and you're about to launch something, you have people who are probably waiting in the dark who are listening to all of your things and who are connecting with you. So that was really how at that time I made that choice was gut and really just Chris over delivered. I always found he gave so much free knowledge. You guys still do this with the Mentor Collective, just so much info that it was really the oh, if he's giving that much for free, what's going to happen when I pay for that? And now I make decisions from a bit of a different place. I definitely probably interview people now, but I think early stage, finding those people that you're really aligned with that you deliver. And I think, I'm going to give you many accolades, I'm sure, as we talk, but I tell everyone, I'm like, Chris and Lori over deliver no matter what you're doing, whether it's Mentor Collective, whether it's the Elite, whether it's a roundtable, it's a VIP weekend, anyone who asks me about investing with you, because people like to ask me all the time, I'm like, you guys really over deliver. So really asking other people is a great way to do it. It's not always my way, but at that time it was definitely gut.
I love that. Okay. So when you are walking into the room, were there things that you prepared yourself with? Were you I'm going to be interested in people, I'm going to arm myself with these questions, or have you always been very socially outgoing?
Oh, I've always been socially outgoing. I think it's I'm an only child.
Then tell me the magic behind. Then tell us the magic. What would you say to? Because I love to find you at events because I'm just let me find this very extroverted person, which I can be extremely extroverted, but I can also be really introverted.
Yes,
so I'm
which is so funny.
Let's find the extrovert to help me extrovert even more. But what would you say to somebody who's going into an event? How would you help coach them through it?
Yeah, it's so funny because I think.
Or into a mastermind.
Yeah. It's funny because I think I can be both where it's I'm also very outgoing and extrovert, but sometimes when I'm out of my shell, in a space where I don't know anybody, I'm a silent little potato. And even I laugh because me and my business partner will go places together and we kind of have the opposite experience. And I'm if I don't know somebody, I was I need a crutch. I need someone who's going to be my little buddy. But I think really it's that idea of being interested rather than interesting, asking a lot of questions, seeing what's going on for people. And I make it my mission to try to help people with whatever it is that they're looking for. So even Lori, if you're in a smaller room where people are talking about what's going on for them, things they're struggling with, I'll take notes and I'll write down okay, Lori said that she's actually struggling with ads right now. And I know an amazing ads company. And so I will go afterwards. I'll be Lori, you mentioned ads. I actually know somebody who could probably help you. Can I make that intro for you? Really building that kind of relationship capital between us. I think that's such a big piece of like building that relationship. I don't focus on 100 people when I do this. Like when I go into a room, I'm not like, I'm going to go and I'm going to get a return on my investment. Like I went to an event a few weeks ago in Miami. Maybe I paid $3,000. I didn't go there being like, oh my goodness, like by the end of this, I need a $3,000 client. I go in there being like, how do I get to know a few people, build really solid connections, lean into the connections I already have, and really just focus on adding value. And I think even if you do that with 1 or 2 people, it makes a big difference. So for those of you listening who might be a little bit more introverted and you're like a little nervous about connecting with someone, I would say focus on 1 or 2 relationships. And one of the things I love that, Lori, like you always say, and I think you've said this with a lot of grace, is this idea of like, you don't need to be friends with the people on stage, like, or the people you've even invested in. Really just leaning into the people who are on the come up with you. That's how I've gotten all my speaking opportunities. That's how I've gotten all my referrals. Like all of that has been focusing on building those relationships. So I think even just finding 1 or 2 people, because I mentioned, like, I'm an only child, so I think it's always come naturally to me. I'm like, hyped up. But I think there's also like, for those of you who are like, hey, this is a muscle like I've never like flexed, build 1 relationship. And the fortune's actually really in the follow-up. If you go and you're like, hey, I didn't make all the connections I wanted. I love to write people's names down and be like, hey, send them a voice note afterwards being like, we never actually got to meet. And I noticed you were there and I'd love to connect with you. Here's a connection call link. Would love to just like, drop in, connect. No like obligation, also like not going to pitch you anything. And that's how so many amazing connections have come.
Okay. So I want to circle back to something that you also said. When you go into a room, you're kind of like, have this idea of adding value. If they need help, you're like, let's book a call. Like I can help walk you through that without like, you're not expecting something from them. It would be wonderful. But you're not like, okay, now you have to return this favor. For people who are, there's so many different types of personalities that go into these rooms. Sometimes there's people who are like over givers. How did you set boundaries around, I know you kind of mentioned like, you don't go in with the intention of doing this for everyone. How do you kind of decide and set boundaries around your energy and how much value you're going to offer and add, how many calls you're going to book with the attendees?
It's interesting. I don't know if you find this, Lori, because I know you have a similar mindset, but I actually feel like people don't take advantage of it. Like, and I don't know if it's like, because I definitely, I would say early on was kind of like give to everyone. Just, you never know where anything will go. Like I've had conversations with people where I'm like, I don't think this is going to turn into anything. Like you have a full social media team, you have a full podcast production thing, like, and then they end up sponsoring one of my events or they end up introducing me to a great sponsor. Like you never know like what could happen, and really just being in it for a relationship. But I would say I haven't found that too many people are like, abusing me, like messaging me 24/7. But what I will say is you can feel energetically when things feel like a match. And I love to be the person to go first. I love to be the person to say like, hey, I'm going to, there's this new relationship here. I'm the person who's going to take you out for lunch. I'm the person who's going to make that intro for you. And if I notice that there's like a lot of asks, then I'm like, I'm going to withdraw a bit. And that's always a hard line, right? Because I'm not a big asker myself. Like, if someone asks me for something, I'm always happy to do it. But like when I need something, I'm kind of like, do you think I should like flex this relationship? Like, should I ask? It's always tough. But I would say for me, it's really about like setting the boundary around like what feels like a good energetic match, which is really just a feeling. Like I wish there was a formula. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like sometimes, and even like Laura, the way I feel about you and Chris, it's like, you're like, I'm fundraising for Glossy. I'm like, okay, who do I know that's an investor? Like, yes, like let me make an intro. Let me do whatever I can. But like, if someone else tells me they're fundraising, I might not be as quick to be like, let me like pull out my Rolodex, So it's all about the kind of energy exchange.
Once you get in the rooms, you guys will know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
and
totally.
When I say rooms, I mean, these can be online as well. It's like, if it feels heavy and if it feels like it's hard to do it, that's not an energetic match. If it feels exciting and you're like, I don't know what this is, but I feel like I'm supposed to follow it. I feel like those are little energetic breadcrumbs that you just don't know what it's going to turn into. And I think that's what's been so amazing with you is you have added so much value to us by following now what I am learning for you was like an energetic match, that the way that you showed up for us, I'm like, wow, every time this woman shows up in a room, the room is better. I feel amazing around her. I'm like completely blown away by the value that you've added and the people that you've referred to us, to the point where I'm like, I'm thinking, what can I do for Kristina? Like, how could, is how can we have her like be a coach in our stuff, which is
Yeah.
such a value add for us, by the way. But we're just like, how could I surround myself with her because it feels so good? How could I have her on the podcast when she comes back to the US? So if you guys want to know how these things happen, this is literally how it happens. This is how it happened with my mentors. Like, it's legitimately how I got Gabby Bernstein to forward my book, is because I just kept on showing up for her over and over and over without any expectation, truly. So when it came time for an ask that I still did not have an attachment to, I was like, hey, would you ever, think about forwarding this book because of how many things that like you've impacted me on? I'd love for you to be the person who does this. And it was for her, she was like, it was just a no brainer. Like, of course, because of how many things that I had done for her. And so these are the ways that you have to think, you guys. Like I've literally had people, which Kristina, we're not going to do a bitch session, whatsoever, but we are going to chat about some right and wrong ways.
Totally. Yeah.
And I have done the wrong ways as well. So I just want to raise my hand right now and say, when you are new, if you guys have done some of these, trust me, I've cringed multiple times at myself. And it's not a bad thing. It's a great, great lesson to learn like what to do and what not to do. I've had people who have never messaged me once, have never seen in my life, want me to forward their book and then share it. And I'm like, I literally don't know who you are. And so
what is your book about?
I can't put my name on it because I just don't know who you are. Like I'm going to need to do a background check.
But don't you find too, and this is actually like the blessing and the curse, I think, of your audience growing, right? And for you, Lori, you have this amazing, abundant audience. Like I always joke, like in Canada, like it's like you're like a household name. It's so funny. But it's just, you have this amazing audience and there's expectations because people feel like they know you better than you know them.
Right.
But then at the same time, it's also like, I think people can be really disrespectful of those boundaries because you actually don't know them. Right. And that's like, it's just like, you're both hanging out in the digital space, but it feels closer than it is because people feel like they know you.
Yeah. Like I feel close to people who have no idea who my name is. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's right. You don't know. So what would you say is a great, I know you've talked about value adds, but when you are going out in the world and you're like, oh, I'm going to need, or I would love to potentially be able to ask them for something down the road, unattached. What are the ways that you start viewing that relationship?
Yeah, I would say the big thing for me is it's really the value piece, but it's,
if you're just starting your business or you're looking for a really good foundation in your business, start with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Northwest Registered Agent has been helping small business owners and entrepreneurs launch and grow business for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the US with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your local laws, and can help you and your business every step of the way. Build your business identity fast with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free resources, forms, and step-by-step guides without even creating an account. Sign up for a free account to begin managing your business hub with lawyer-drafted operating agreements, bylaws, resolutions, membership certificates, bills of sale, and more, all at no cost. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/earn free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/earn free. When you're growing a company, you know that you need good people around you in order to get to the next level. And right now, there's a talented person out there who could take your company to the place that you want. But the question is, do you want to just hope that they see your job posts before your competitors, or do you want to match with them using Indeed sponsored jobs? If I had to hire someone for the show tomorrow, I wouldn't mess around with candidates who look decent on paper, but don't even get what I do. I'd want somebody who already has worked in podcasting and editing and software and understands workflow and can jump in and not only do the job well, but help take us to where we want to go. That's why I use Indeed sponsored jobs. They help you find people who actually fit what you're looking for. Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. With sponsored jobs,
Your post is boosted to reach quality candidates, the kind of people who can help your business thrive and drive the results that you need. And the best part is you only pay for results. In fact, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 95% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. So if you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. And I like those stats. So spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
I think showing up like relentlessly a little, like, you know, and not in like an annoying way where you're like messaging people 24/7 because people don't like that either. But what I would say is, Chris made a joke about this in one of our mentor collective calls where he was introducing me and we were talking about like relationships. And I was like, guys, like the way like I became friends with Chris and Lori is I just like wore them down, listening to their podcast and posting their podcast episodes. I mean, like, hi, this was good. And I like this. And I shared this. And you can't help but notice when people are like interested in what you're doing and interested in the things that you're up to. And so I think for me, it's just really like making connections for people, really also just like sharing. And I would say too, like there is an energy around like, cause you had mentioned like people messaging you about like forwarding. I get not to the same extent, but I get messages all the time where people will be like, could you share my podcast episode? And I'm like, I haven't listened to that. Like, I don't know. I don't even listen to your podcast.
what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, what is your podcast about? Like, I don't know. And I think it's really like, but if you message me and you're like, hey, I had this awesome episode and I'm wondering like for reach, if you wanted to share it, like it's like an of course. So I think it's really always about that like relationship pre-ask, which I actually think it's people miss. And I don't know if you feel this too, but it's like, especially in the online digital world and in person too, like there's just so much. And I think like really focusing on, you know, not like really breadth of relationships, but depth and being like, hey, I have like one or two mentors. Like I don't have a lot of mentors. I've worked with you and Chris like pretty much extensively. If someone asks me who my mentors are, that's like you guys. And I've invested in create and cultivate events. Like that's been really my big kind of investments over the years. And so I think like, you know, not worrying so much about like trying to make so many relationships. So you have so many people to ask, but if you actually just like focus on the depth of these relationships, a lot of magic can happen.
I totally agree with that. And I think that we can get lost in that world of thinking that you do need to be close to all of these different people and all these different groups and all of these different mentors. And I've really watched you in a beautiful way infiltrate deeply into certain groups by adding so much value that everyone in those rooms knows your name. So you guys, this is an absolute masterclass in how to network. And I think that if anyone really, it's the long game. It's the long game. Kristina, how long would you say like you start feeling like you are getting a network and where you can start like feeling like seeing some results from it?
I am like such a big believer in like you reap what you sow, like hugely with network. And actually a mistake I see people make all the time is kind of like what I had said earlier. You go somewhere and you're like, where's my money? Like, you know, it's like immediate. And I actually think like things could take 6 months, they can take a year, but it's really about your effort. Like, are you asking questions? Are you booking coffee chats? Are you going out for coffee? Are you like, it's not enough to just invest. I've seen people do this with like big investments where they'll invest in something like the Elite Mastermind. And they don't come to any other calls and they don't reach out to any other, like, and that's exception, not the norm, but like, they don't, you know, meet with somebody one-on-one. And I'm like, you're like maximize your investment, like meet every single person. Like I make that a priority when I'm in a mastermind is I'll reach out to every single person to have a coffee. And there's people who aren't a click and there's people who become lifelong friends, like, and you feel that energy, right? So I would say like really leaning into that and doing, you know, maybe 3 months of networking. I once got the advice of like, try to meet someone new every day. And at the end of the week, I always schedule like 2 or 3 hours where I follow up with all the people I met with. And I'm like, hey, I owe you this. I had a conversation with somebody about this and I want to make a connection. I end every single one of those calls with, what do you need right now in your business? Like, what's a slam dunk for you? You know, big sports girl over here. And,
sports, go sports.
Go sports. The only sports reference I can make. But yeah, like, I'm like, what's a slam dunk for you? Because sometimes people will be like, well, I just want to be on a few more podcasts. And I'm like, well, I have a podcasting agency with 50 podcasts. So like, let me make a few intros or something there. Or someone will be like, I'm looking for an intro to this person. And sometimes I'm like, can't make that intro because that's a relationship that I'm still cultivating, or that person's kind of guarded or whatever. But like, what else are you looking for? How can I be helpful? Let me keep that in mind. So I just say, like, it's even today, I was just telling you about a friend who has a co-working space, and I was like, yeah, I think Lori would love to come work here. And like, when the time is right, I'll make the right introduction, right? Like, it takes the time to do it the right way. I'm curious actually for you, and I know you're interviewing me, but like,
I love this. I like going both ways.
Now this is my podcast. So I'm curious for you, like, as somebody who has like such a like large like audience and such a, you know, you've cultivated so much community, like what is a slam dunk for you in building those relationships when people are coming to your world and like, you know, are making asks? Like, what's the best way for people to do that?
Are you saying from like a, somebody that I don't know coming in to make an ask to me?
Yeah,
definitely relationship. Like if you have been in my DMs or you're sharing something, or maybe you're asking like very well thought about questions, like one at a time, or you're commenting on things. Maybe I see you at events and you make a, you know, you come up and chat.
Yeah.
Making an effort.
Yeah.
Like you feel the effort. And I know you feel the effort as well, Kristina. Like people, we forget that these people that we're looking up to are people.
Yeah.
And they want to feel connected to someone. And it's actually quite crazy how quickly you can feel connected to people when they intentionally start showing up in your world.
Yeah.
And I can feel the energy of somebody. Also, this is really, really huge, you guys. This is something that I had to work on, and I think is really big for you guys to work on when you're networking, is to make sure your energy is like clean when you're going for an ask, or when you're going, and I'll explain what I mean by clean, because that's a weird word. It's a weird
I got
word.
It though.
Like, if you are really like, I need this person to see me, I need this person to share my stuff, I need this person in order for my stuff to be successful, that energy is really, it's like a desperate feeling, and people can feel it immediately. Like I can feel when someone feels like they believe they're reliant on my event to change their entire life that particular weekend. And I'm like, whoa, like this is going to take a lot of work on your part. And so I think it is I feel when people are like, this is a relationship that I want to build.
Yep.
Not only because, yes, you could probably do something great for me, but also because I am interested in you as a person.
Yeah.
And I'm also here to reciprocate. Like that energy is what feels really good for me.
No, I love that, because I was going to say one of the things that I struggle with a lot in terms of like, you know, one of my businesses is called High Vibe Women. It's an event for entrepreneurial women. It's in Canada. Americans, welcome to it.
It's a great event, you guys. You need to go.
Thanks, Lori. But one of the things I really struggle with is like speakers, is that people they pitch me for speaking all the time. Like, and they'll book discovery calls through my other business, and I'll get on the phone with them. They're like, I actually don't want any services, but I just want to tell you I'm a great speaker. And I'm like, oh, you'll actually never speak. That was like not the right way to do that. Right. And like, but I'm sure you feel this too. It's like this energy around like, I'm like, come to the event, enjoy the event, show up and add a ton of value at the event.
Yep.
And there was somebody who came to, like, you know, they pitched me to speak. I kind of was like, sorry, like it's not a fit right now. Nothing negative, just like full. And she came to the event and she added so much value. Like the amount of people who came to me and they were like, oh, I actually got a takeaway from this person. And I was like, not a speaker? Like you guys were sitting at a table and she, you know that, but it was so amazing. Like she connected with so many people. She reached out to people after, like I heard over and over again, like I couldn't stop hearing her name. So then when we went to choose the next speaker, of course she was on the list. Right? Like she gave a little, I gave a little. I was like, great. Right. And even if things are not a no, like they're a no right now, they're not a no forever, but it's really by your actions, and they can become a no forever depending on what you do next. Right. And so if you're like, hey, that was a no, but like, I'm going to keep showing up and I'm going to keep being like, you know, 100, and I'm going to like show up with a lot of integrity, the opportunities will come. And I've waited in that too, where it's like, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I'd love to do this. And then it hasn't happened the way I wanted it to. But then I keep with the positive energy around it, and it has happened later. So sometimes we, you know, don't want to block our blessings.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that you pointed that out, because if you want to be in someone's world, you really actually have to go in their world first. Like you have to know what it is that Kristina wants?
Yeah.
What does she need at this event? Oh my gosh, where could you add value? Where could you see that, hey, you know what? I got to spend last year in the audience and here was the main question.
Yes.
Here's where I feel like whether it's me or someone else, it's totally up to you. I'm going to come to your event anyway. Like that's the languaging, guys. Like no matter what, I'm going to be there because I want to support.
Yeah.
If you want help around this, awesome. If not, no worries. You know, I'm going to keep showing up like I'm your girl. Like that feels so supportive and not like not needy and not a little like, oh my gosh, I don't know how. It's almost like those relationships can turn. I don't get them anymore because I can feel them. I can actually feel that energy. But in the beginning, I almost feel like it's a rite of passage that you don't know how to manage that energy as the person being asked. And what can happen is it can like turn south very quickly where they like get mad at you then.
Oh, I've had this recently. Like, you know, so, like not to get too specific, but you know, someone had come to our event and felt very like entitled to like, you know, some stage time because they'd been to the event a few times and kind of like made that very clear to me. And like, it wasn't a no, but it just wasn't a no right then. Yeah. But now it's a no.
Yeah.
Like because of the way the interaction went down. And for me, it's like my, like, you know, the High Vibe Women stage, like my community, like that is like the most important thing I have. And so I'm going to, other than my family, my child, but like, you know, like my business importance. So it's like, I'm going to protect that and I'm going to only bring the best people there. And I am going to like really think about like, and it's the same for you when you run Girlfriends in Business and when you're running, you know, the Elite or whatever, you're bringing in guest speakers, like you're going to bring in people who have a ton of integrity. And you know, that is so important. And so if you're waiting for an opportunity, sometimes it can feel like it's not happening on your timeline, but if you just keep, you know, chipping away at it and asking for feedback, you know, saying, hey, like I've pitched you 5 times on this and it's not a fit. Clearly. I'm curious. Like, what could I be doing? Like, is there anything I could be doing? And sometimes it's not you at all. And sometimes it is actually. And, you know, someone can give you some feedback that can totally change your business.
Yep, totally. And I think that is the other thing is if you're going to, I think asking for feedback is so important if that's happening and you're not getting the answer that you want, because you could be going and doing the same thing over and over and you guys aren't going to get a yes because something is off. But you also have to be very open to the feedback. Like you have to know that some of it, yes, could be true. Some of it may just be from their opinion. So it's like taking that, gut checking with it, seeing how you can change, seeing if you can get more feedback from other people to see if this truly is a repeated pattern for you.
Totally.
And really taking that on and maybe going back to that person after you've integrated it and saying, hey, thank you so much for that feedback. Like maybe in the moment it was hard for me to hear, but I went back and I did this, and that. You guys, that is like game changing for people.
Totally.
Your world will be rocked at how you can change relationships by actually really taking that on. So, okay, you are the co-founder of the Social Snippet and High Vibe Women, which we've talked about with your events.
Yeah.
Let's start with the event because I feel like we've been talking about masterminds and events. Do you feel like people are really starting to crave more in person right now?
Yeah, big time. And I actually think it's really like shifting since COVID, you know, where it's like everyone is online. I always say, you know, even Mentor Collective, like it's bumping in there. People love, they like ask tons of questions. They come to all your calls. So if you cultivate a great online community, there's great things that can happen. But I think in person, there's a really amazing magic that can happen that I think people are really noticing. So even in Canada, like High Vibe Women, when we started that, there weren't a lot of events. Like I couldn't find them. And now they're starting to pop up a lot more, which is awesome. And like, I'm even seeing friends of mine run them, which is great. But I think people are really, really wanting that like in-person connection because I do think that is where a lot of like long lasting relationships can happen. And you know this from being in-person masterminds. Like you go, you sit next to somebody, you have no idea that they can change your business and your life. So definitely seeing more of that.
Okay, so tell me about your last High Vibe Women event.
Yeah.
What made you want to start an event? And tell me kind of like what that has done for you and what that's done for your community.
Well, actually, to be honest, like, you know, of course, you and Chris are part of the story in a way because I was in, you know, once you guys sold Fast Foundations to Jim and RT, I was in that for a few years and I had the opportunity to coach in that as well. And what was so cool about that is Chris came to speak and, you know, we were chatting and he said, I like, this is gonna be on my tombstone, but he wrote like the people who are going to see success this year, this was like 2023. The people who are going to see success this year are the people who are able to gather people in a room. And I was kind of like, what would that look like for me? I ran a social media agency. Like, why would I gather people in a room, like make content, whatever? We were just starting with podcasting at that time. And I was like coming home and I was like, I wish there was like a Fast Foundations feeling at home. Like, I wish there was a way I could just get a group of people together for us to talk business. So we started to run these little pop-up dinners, 10 people, 30 people. I know you're doing something similar as well with like your girlfriends, like, just getting a bunch of people together to like chat business. We started selling the tickets. They started selling out like rapid fire. People would come. We could not get them to leave. Like it would be like 5 hours in and we'd be like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Like you got to go. Like it's time to go. We were like shutting restaurants down. And so we started to run, larger events because really the idea behind it was like, behind High Vibe Women is like bringing together women to grow their networks and magic in their business. And like this like energy I have around networking and Maria shares, we want to share with other people, like be in the room, add value, make a connection, like offer support, and it's just, we just don't have as much in Canada as you guys do in the States. Like you guys have so many events like everywhere all the time. And now we're starting to get more, but at the time there wasn't much. And so we started to run it. We're on our 5th one that's coming up on March 7th, but
oh my God, already.
I know. And we do 2 big ones a year. Like it goes by so fast. But our last one had 180 women. We had Marina from Crane Cultivate come speak. She was amazing. Jess Jovanovic, who's been in the community. Miriam, who's in the Elite Mastermind. Seriously, guys, all my friends, this is where they come from. I met Marina and Fast Foundations. So it's like, get in the room. That's who will speak at your events. But yeah, that's really like, it was amazing. We had 180 women and people were like, this one was the best one yet. Everyone says that every time, which is so sweet. But really like the focus of it has been about them growing their network. Like the speakers are a huge piece of it. They inspire people. You can take a nugget that can really shift your business. But really like our heart behind it is getting women to network with each other and pour into each other.
Okay. So you are social media, podcasting, events. Let's talk about podcasting a bit, because what is so full circle is that you are sitting in this chair right now because of a podcast.
Totally.
That we decided to do.
And I could have literally never imagined like one that like we'd offer podcasting as a service, like never like that. I don't know how that would have even come into my brain. Just had that, when something happens, you're like, duh, but like it takes you a while to get there. Like people kept being like, will you offer podcasting? You'd be like, no.
Absolutely not.
And they'd be like, how is that different than social? Like, no. And then now it's like our premium offering. But yeah, it's like, it's been like a total journey, right? Like from going to listening to podcasts to then now producing them. And now it's become like such a hack for so many business owners. Like, I don't think everyone should have a podcast because it is definitely, I think, a huge time commitment, as you know.
That's what I was just going to ask you. I'm like, do you think anyone can have a podcast? What does that look like?
No, I don't, but not because I think if you want one, yes. But I think sometimes people do it for the wrong reasons. And I think there's a few things with podcasting that people don't realize. And I think the number one thing is that it is like the ultimate networking hack.
It really is.
Like I look at some of the people you've had on your podcast and it's like, do you think the connections came from you having a podcast?
Kristina, if I sat here and wrote down like all of the people who have come in my life or the miracles that have happened or the like investors or the people that have come into our masterminds, the friendships that I've made, like a lot of my friends have come by way of my podcast. Yeah. Which is, it's been one of the biggest investments in my life. Like time, monetarily, energetically, like it is no fucking joke. Like, oh, are you ready to show up twice a week, every week or more, no matter if you're like, I'm literally getting over a cold right now. Yeah. And it's like, no matter if you feel like a bag of ass, podcast, you're sick. Something happens in your life that's traumatic. You lose somebody in your family. Yeah. Like, are you ready to continue showing up? It's not that you can't skip it, but it's that you are going to have to live your life in a way that you are so committed to that life is going to life you hard while you have it, because it just does anyway. So it's like, it's literally been the biggest investment, but the blessings on the other side are beyond anything that I could sit here and ever tell you. I could sit for hours and try to tell everyone the blessing that it's been.
Not to Uno reverse you again, but like, when would you say you started to like see traction with your podcast monetarily? Like, because this is the question I get all the time where people are like,
oh gosh,
it's funny. Like I'll have people and they're like, oh, like I want a podcast, but like I want to monetize it in a year. And I'm like, you can monetize it with your own offerings like day one. So like talk about yourself, like and the things you do. That's fine. But I know you actually have like ads and all of that, and you're a top 25 podcast. You're in the charts.
I'll take it
all the time. I screenshot.
You do. She sends you guys. This is like one of my favorite You want to know, like, I don't even know. It's just like, it's such an act of service. She screenshots when I'm in the top 25 and sends it to me. And it's in the morning because she's way ahead she's ahead of me in time. I'm Pacific time, you're Eastern, right? And so I wake up to it at 6 a.m. with this little like, screenshot. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know. I can't wait till it's number one.
Who does that?
Number one, I'm calling you in the middle of the night.
Girl, how are we going to do that with all these paid spots now?
Yeah, fair.
If I get a number up to number like 10.
Okay.
Because the top 10 are usually always paid.
Okay, great.
It's a whole other thing.
10 and under, I can
10
call
and
you.
under, we're like, that means that we
coming.
just like, I don't even know what we did. We broke the system.
Oh my God. I always tease Chris too, because I sent him one and it was like, he was like, I can't remember what number it was. Like, because you fluctuate. Like sometimes you're 25, like even for me, sometimes I'm 60, sometimes I'm 200, like everywhere, right?
I'm like, oh, hi, 200.
You're like, don't screenshot that for me. But I sent Chris one that was like, and I was like, look, like you're in the top 200. And he's like, you do under 25 for Lori. Like, I'm like, okay. But what would you say, like, you were able to like monetize it? Because I think that's a question a lot of podcasters have is like, listening to your podcast, you've been at this a long time. Mm-hmm. Like you've been putting in the reps. So it's kind of like, 9
years.
Yes. Like you've been
almost 10. Mm-hmm.
working a muscle there. Right. Mm-hmm. So how has that monetization journey look for you?
I'm like, is it 10 years? 20? I think it's been I think this year will be 10 years in May.
Do we do an Earn Your Happy party? I really just want you guys to run some live events, please.
Now I want to change the name. Like, no, it's so crazy. I know. It's just like 10 years ago, I was a different person.
Yes,
I was talking about this started as like happiness and self-development. And it's been business like the last 3 or 4 years. So it's really interesting. But anyway, with that said, I didn't necessarily get into the podcast for the ads game. That wasn't like what I was thinking when I first started. I wanted to convert people to our offerings. Mm-hmm. And I did that fairly quickly. Yeah. So I monetized it from the beginning fairly quickly. There's no way of totally knowing whatsoever what money came from that. But I will tell you, in every room that we put on mastermind wise and that I would speak in, I would ask who listened to the podcast. Yeah. And even if it was audiences that weren't mine, I swear to you, there would always be at least like 10 to a third of the room, depending on how long I'd had the podcast. Yeah. And so I do know that we monetized right away, but we were also investing. I mean, a podcast can be anywhere from, depending who you work with, $1,500 to $6,000 to $7,000 a month on how many episodes you have, how much you're doing on YouTube, videos, all of those things. So I did get to monetize on my things right away, but I didn't do ads until maybe it was year 5 or 6.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I first of all, I remember I actually went into Dear Media to see if I could be partners with them. And we had a meeting and it was wonderful. But some of the things that they were offering in terms of like, when you get to be a part of them, which they're awesome, you guys have to know what your desired goals are.
Yes, totally.
And I wasn't able to have as much freedom with my podcast in terms of who I was, going to have on, what they were going to advertise, what I was advertising and when. Did I have any leeway with if the episode, if I was running a little bit late when it was going into production? And so you have to know thyself and you have to know what you want. Yeah. So there's a pros and cons to every single ad agency and every single, podcast agency that you would be going with. Yeah. So I think that you have to go in clearly with a podcast and know what your desired goals are from the top.
100%. Yeah. I also, and I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think if you're in the podcast to monetize it, like ads wise, you might not be in it for the long haul just because of how long it takes to get to that point. Like you can't add programmatic ads until 1,000 downloads like a month. So from there, it's like, unless you're doing brand deals, which if you have a large audience, you could like kind of combine them. We have clients who do that where they're not quite at the 1,000, but maybe they have a huge Instagram following. So they're like, throwing in reels and stuff like that, like lots you can do. But I really think it has to be for like the love of the conversation.
It does.
And love of the topic.
I talk about the importance of sleep and reaching your goals all the time on this podcast, but I also know that you're probably wound pretty tight like I am, and you might have trouble transitioning from your daytime to your nighttime. So I added something that I absolutely love because, skincare is a big thing for me in 2026, and I love Osea's Dream Collection. It's really helped change that for me. Osea's Dream Night Serum and Dream Night Cream are clinically tested formulas powered by bioretinol and designed to reduce the visible effects of stress on your skin while you sleep. You guys know that I am all about making the things you're already doing work for you. So why not make this work for you in your sleep? So I love this because it really helps me wind down, not only because of this beautiful scent and how it feels on my skin, but I'm really loving that it's something that supports my nighttime ritual while I sleep, and it helps me settle in for the night because my skin feels so good. And again, it's got that nice lavender scent that I always associate to nighttime sleep, because skincare truly is self-care, you guys. So Osea's newest product in the Dream collection is the Dream Bio Retinol Body Serum. And let me tell you, skincare for me this year is not just about my face, it's about my whole body. So you should make this a key part of your personal body care routine, just like I am. And I think you're going to fall in love with it. So it's a full body restorative treatment that visibly de-stresses the skin with a holistic blend of bioretinol, red seaweed, magnesium, and lavender. I think the second that you put it on, you're going to feel the difference just like I did, and you're going to see the difference. I mean, talk about looking like glass skin. I literally put it on and actually feel like I want to go somewhere because my skin looks so plump and hydrated and youthful. So you guys, give your skin a rest with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now we have a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code EARN at oseamalibu.com. And trust me, you're going to love this so much. You're going to want to buy one for your friends. Are you ready to take your business's marketing to the next level? Meet Brevo, the all-in-one marketing and CRM platform built to help you connect with customers, boost engagement, and grow your business smarter. With Brevo, you can manage all your customer interactions in one place. Nurture leads with their built-in CRM, reach your audience through email and SMS, and keep them coming back with powerful automations. But here's where it gets really exciting. Meet Aura, Brevo's AI assistant. Aura helps you craft smarter campaigns by suggesting personalized content, optimizing send times, and even analyzing performance data to help you improve your strategy in real time. It's like having a marketing expert on your team 24/7. And of course, Brevo offers advanced analytics, seamless integrations, and AI-driven personalization, everything you need to create multi-channel campaigns that hit the mark every time. Get started for free today or use code HAPPY50 to save 50% on starter and standard plans for the first 3 months of an annual subscription. Just head to www.brevo.com/happy and take your marketing further with Brevo and Aura.
Like, I love my podcast because I get to talk about like community and events and marketing, and I get to talk to amazing people, and that's so fun for me. Mm-hmm. And so is it monetized now? Yeah. But at the same time, it like didn't start that way. And I needed to keep putting in the reps. And so I think for people who are thinking about starting a podcast, like we've launched over 50 podcasts. So I've seen people do it like in the business niche. I've seen people do it in the weight loss niche. I've seen people do it, educators, like all different types, a payment merchant, like all different types of people, but it has to be like, you're down for the conversation.
It really does, because like you said, there's kind of a spot for your downloads in order to start making money. And in order to start making money too, you have to know like, well, you're going to have to pay for the podcast first.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So a lot of people are going to have to find partners that just start to cover the 1,500 to 5K, whatever that's. So what would you say is the average range of startup for cost?
Yeah, I would say like if you aren't doing it yourself, because like you can get crafty, right? Like this is the thing too. It doesn't need to look like this, right? What you and I are doing. Like this is probably an evolution of your podcast. It looks sick in here. Like, this is in Lori's house. I'm just saying this is in Lori's house. I feel like I'm like, it's a massive studio, but like, it doesn't have to look like this. It can be on Riverside, that you edit on Riverside yourself. Like it can look like that. If you just want to get your message out, like I have tons of resources on my website at thesocialsnippet.com where like we teach you how to do all this stuff for free. But I would say the average, you're probably looking at 1,500 to 2,000 on the lower end if you're not doing like really elaborate like YouTube videos and things like that. And YouTube's different than podcasting, but we're seeing that there's like such an uptick of people watching podcasts on YouTube. Yes. So, but are there super successful audio only podcasts? Yeah. And they do well, right? So it's really about finding your kind of jam with it.
Okay. So you're going to want to find, you know, in the beginning when you don't have the downloads yet, like I know you said 1,000 is kind of where you can start finding something. If you want to work with an agency, they always want around 10,000. At least this is from the last like year that I've been working with people. They're looking for 10,000 downloads in the first 2 weeks, like per episode. It's kind of like that range that they want you. And it can be a little lower. It can obviously, of course, be higher, but they want you within that range for the partners that they are placing on your podcast. Yeah. And then once you guys get a partner, once you guys get an ad or an ad partner, like you can't skip your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have signed and said that you will have this episode for it to go out on. You will need to have an episode because they are paying you. So it is like now you are in, and you absolutely by no circumstance cannot have an episode go out, or you will get a bad reputation and you will lose those partnerships because this world is very, very small.
Yeah, totally.
So you do have to know, I think from the beginning, if you're going to want to, like exactly like you said, the ads game is completely different. Unless you're somebody like, I want to use an example. Let's say you're a person who owns a med spa and you have got like such a niche audience, and maybe it's not that large, but it's like a dream audience. They're tuning in because they want to know exactly what you're doing and you're giving great content, and you get a partner who's already a partner for you in your med spa. Like maybe it's, you know, Skin Farm, or maybe it's Skin Science, whatever type of partner that you know could pay you for that. And you work out your own deals. This is what a lot of people do. You have like great people that would be the perfect fit for them. They already know they could probably capitalize on this because they know that their people will convert. Yeah. And maybe you work your own deal with them. Now, is there a world where you do that with people, or that people have come to you and been like, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah, we don't do it for people, but I would say like I've done this for my own podcast, right? Like, and we do it for High Vibe Women because I collect sponsorships. And like, if you have something else going on top of your podcast, leverage that. Like that is the big thing I would say. It's like, if you've got a good social media audience, if you've got a good email list, if like, you know, you run in-person events, like that's actually how we started monetizing my podcast with ads. Was I would sell High Vibe Women sponsorships and I'd be like, you get 10 ads in my podcast. No one has ever asked me for my podcast numbers. Like no one. Like, and now it's like my podcast is like, you know, like growing and lots of good stuff's happening, which is awesome. But like it took a bit of time, like, you know, to get to that point, obviously. But like people are, I think, not as savvy to podcast numbers as they are to social media numbers. I don't know. Would you agree?
Yeah. Totally.
And so I think it's like really like if you're going to go to partners, I think those dream partners are it. Like going to, we actually have a mutual connection with somebody who she does like wellness stuff, like GLP-1, like that's kind of her niche. And she has a smaller podcast and she got it like super sponsored because she was able to be like, hi, like this is an ideal audience for you. Like you want to talk to these people, whether it's 50, 100, 200, 500 downloads, those are like super engaged listeners. So I think don't knock it if you don't have a big audience, but I think really like those brand deals can be really helpful.
What do we think? What do you think for podcasting coming up this next year? Is it oversaturated? Do you think people should still do it? Like, how do you know you should do it?
I think the way you know you should do it is if you have an inkling to do it. Like if you have like it on your heart. I hear this all the time. People are like, 2026 goals, start a podcast. I'm like, if that's your goal, do it. Like if you're into it and you're okay with the long game. If you are someone who needs fast results with something, this isn't the medium.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would say like also get smart with it. Use it for your social content. Like you do such a great job with this, right? Like we'll probably have a reel on this. Like, you know, you'll use ManyChat, like things like that, like really make such a big difference. So I would say that's a piece of it. Like if you're feeling it, it's definitely not oversaturated. And I always say this because people like think about Instagram. They're like, do you think I should like not go on Instagram? And like 5 years ago when I started my business, I was like, there's lots of people on Instagram. I don't know that I need a business Instagram. Yeah. Imagine I didn't do that. Like I've grown so much business through that. So it's like, you're not behind. Like the only thing you're probably a little behind on is Facebook. I would say if like you're not on Facebook, yeah, you can sit that one out. But like all the other ones, I think like it's never too late. You have no idea what's going to hit. Like even TikTok, like so many people are always like, well, TikTok's TikTok. Like I already like, you know, I've already started whatever. You have one viral video that could change your whole life for sure. Business. Right. So yeah, I think it's just about leaning in. Okay, Uno reverse for Lori now, because I think people are actually going to want this information.
Okay.
Do people Uno reverse you on this podcast? Like ask you questions?
I've never said Uno reverse, but I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. You've never said Uno reverse before, other than playing?
While playing, only while playing the game.
If someone has a podcast and they're feeling that their podcast is small,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, oh, like, how would you recommend that they grow their downloads? And what were the things that worked for you? Obviously, it's a different season. I always say, I'm like, I would kill to have Lori's isogenics business go on Facebook Live, like where it would hit people, like so fun. But like, what would you say now is the things that would maybe work to grow a podcast? Maybe like what worked for you?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I think that growing your community is going to help you grow your podcast, because there's not like an algorithm. It's not like people are going on and Apple is not trying to help you push your podcast out. It's almost like podcasts are like the book world, where it's like, okay, yeah, you got your podcast, you got your book deal. Now what are you going to do to drive people to it? It's like when you get into a retail store with a product too, it's the same exact thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're not driving an audience to this. Yeah. You're driving audience to this. So I think YouTube is a huge thing that I wish I would have done more of from the beginning. And now it's not too late at all. In fact, it's just really like people are really starting to discover podcasts from YouTube. Yeah. So I think having somebody on your team who's going to give you some YouTube shorts, you're going to do long form on there, like really growing your YouTube channel from that, because that is more discoverable. Yep. YouTube is more discoverable and people are watching them on there. So they're not having to also move over to your podcast. That you can really like grow your YouTube following there. For me, one of the biggest ways that this launched is because I had an event and I launched the podcast at the event and I had an ask. So if you don't have to have an event to do this, but you can create a big moment with your audience and your people. So what I did is I said, hey, I'm launching my podcast. I can't remember what we did for them, but I had asked them for subscribes. And at the time, it wasn't even subscribes. It was like, I don't know what you did with the show. I can't remember what it was. But then they and if they could share it to some of their friends. So I had an audience of 300 people. I took a moment in the event to launch the podcast. And I think maybe I drew some names or did some different things for people or whatever. I can't remember what I gave away some things. But imagine if you could get your audience, even if it's like 50 people all at once, you guys, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to drum up energy around the launch. Yeah. So you need to create a launch moment for sure. Yeah. And get that out to the world. I did that with the second podcast that I launched when I did Girlfriends in Business for a while. We wrote a list of all of the people that would be willing to share it and go like rate and review it. That seemed to push it out to the world in a pretty good way. Yeah. And that got that up in the charts pretty quickly. So what I would say is build community around it consistently. It's not always the big guests that are going to help you grow at all. I would say though, it can definitely help, but I would write your dream list of guests and go after them like consistently, like be very, very consistent with your follow-up in order to get that person that you really want on the show, and understand that you're a small show. It's probably going to take a really long time for you to get one of these people. Or the best way to get a larger person on your show is to join their community and add a ton of value, be undeniably valuable, and then they'll probably end up coming on your show eventually.
Yeah, I can't say that enough. Like in terms of relationships, so many people, I was like an OG in my friend group of having Chris on my podcast. I think I was like the first one of like all of us. And everyone was like, how'd you do it? And I was like, I went to Roundtable and I asked him. And then I came to Arizona and I recorded with him. Like that was like the whole thing, right? And I think it's that relationship piece is so big. And I was going to say on the launch piece, like, so we've launched over 50 podcasts, and our mutual bestie, Allie Aruda.
Yes. Love.
Yeah. So much love.
We're obsessed. We could sit here for hours and talk about her.
I know. It'd be nice if she was here.
I know. We'd have so much fun next time.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so sweet. Yeah. Allie's the best. But even Allie, when she launched her podcast, we launched it with her, and she ran an event. She had 100 women there. And that's what we did. We were like, hey guys, you're here celebrating like, women inspiring women. We're doing the thing. Allie's launching the Inspire and Move podcast. We're so proud of her. And like, I did the ask, so it was like less awkward for Allie, and it was like, love it if you like rate, review, subscribe, download, and she was like number 8 or 9 in entrepreneurship. Amazing. Like I was like, I scrolled down, I called her at 6 a.m. and I was like, Allie, like this is crazy science.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
So, but it just took that like buzz and that momentum. And I think treating your podcast like it's a book launch, like it's this thing that you're really excited about, and that you're proud of, and that you're gonna have some great conversations. And I also love what you shared about like big guests, because I think people think that's their ticket. Like they're like, I'm going to get Lori on my podcast. Yep. And Lori is going to be the reason why everybody listens. And she might be. And I will say you are more gracious than a lot of big guests I've seen with clients in terms of sharing and like, you know, promoting other people's podcasts when you're a guest. Like you're so gracious, but busy people are busy people, and promoting their podcast isn't their priority. So I would say if you do have a big guest, something to do, make it a slam dunk for why they should promote it. Provide them assets. Make a killer reel for them. That's like, you know, pay for it. Pay for a reel. Pay for a studio. Like pay for that time, so that this way it's actually like such a banger that people are like, oh yeah, of course. So even like I've had you, and I've had Jacqueline and Johnson, and I've had Chris, and I've had some amazing guests. And when I pitch bigger guests, I'm like, hey, I've had these people. This is what it looked like. And people are like, yeah, of course. Right. So it's really, I think, adding that like extra value and for the guest as well.
Is there anything else that you want to share around podcasting for people who are thinking about it?
Yeah, I would just remind people, like, I think it's easy to feel like it is oversaturated. And like, you know, you scroll and it's like, but so there's like a stat, I can't remember what it is offhand, but it's like less than like, it's like 70% of people don't get past the 10th episode. So it's like you have the muscle for it and you want to do it, batch record a whole bunch of people, a bunch of episodes, set yourself up for interviews with a whole bunch of people, get the equipment. Like, you know, don't like, you know, you don't have to ball out and like, you know, build yourself an in-home podcasting studio unless you want to, but I would say don't go like, you know, too hard, but like invest in it. Invest in the time and make it like a part of your business. And, you know, even working with somebody, whether that's me, whether that's someone else, like working with someone where you're able to like talk to them about what is the monetization strategy behind this? Like, what's the long-term vision of what this can do for my business? That's, I think, the important piece.
What would you say to people who are like, the content piece just gets a little overwhelming for people? How do we break that down and make it easier for them? And just so you guys know, like a lot of my episodes for years, and even still sometimes, were recorded on my phone. Yeah, like not even without a microphone. Like I'll still do it when I'm traveling into my voice record notes. And I've never had a complaint about it.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
I've never. No, maybe people hate it, but they haven't written a review. And let me tell you, people write reviews pretty freely. But not about that. Definitely about one of my funny reviews that I get is that I say, too much. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Anyway, but they write reviews freely, but they haven't about my phone. How can we free people up around, you know, you can like, it can just be you on the episode. Yes. It could be interviewing your partner. It could be interviewing a friend. Like free them up around content.
It's like, I always use workout analogies. I don't know why. It's like, but there's so many parallels. But I think like, it's like saying, I can't do the half marathon, so I'm not going to take the walk.
Yep.
You know, like it's still good for your body to go outside, right? It's still good to drink some water. It's like, totally. You know, it's still good to, you know, take the, you know, dog for a walk or do whatever, right? And so it's the same thing with podcasting. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It could just be you. It could be you in the closet. Like Jenna Kutcher, like that's how she got started. It's like in her closet with her Mac, like that, and that she has a top rated podcast. So like there's so many things that like you can do to make it like really simple for yourself, and just like dropping the perfectionism. And really it is a little bit about like the muscle and the consistency. Your first ones are going to suck. You're going to look back on them. You're going to be like, oh, like I actually don't even recommend people like interview their dream guests as their first people.
Oh God, I know.
The only person, you know, I'll give a shout out, you, because you were the guest. Anna Lozano is a client of mine, and she has had such, Jillian Harris, like all these like banger guests, right? Like so good, and she's done such a good job. But normally when people are like, oh, I'm gonna be going after people with huge followings, I'm always like, I would try with some friends, like
give yourself a year.
Yeah, like just talk to a few people, right? So you can have people that like, you know, you just try it, just flex the muscle, get content out of it. And if you're doing it scrappy, like take little clips and post them. You never know what's going to like resonate with people. And I've been surprised, like some of my best like performing episodes, when I look at the stats, one, it's like things that people search, SEO rich titles. Like that's the big one, is that like people want to know like how to rank on ChatGPT, like just things where I like can teach. But the other thing, it's more like, you know, little ones where I was like, hey, I just was at this event and I had this download about this event. And I'm recording this in the hotel room.
Yep.
There's no video. I'm doing this.
Totally.
I have a little mini mic that was $20. I just plug in. So I think just like leaving some of that behind and even hearing from people like Lori who have great podcasts that like, it doesn't have to look perfect all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to.
Yeah.
It is not going to. And I would say if you asked a consistent podcaster how they felt about their podcast, who's not like Diary of a CEO or Mel Robbins, who has, you know, like 30 people on her team or 60 people, like literally you don't feel amazing about your content all the time.
Yeah.
I would say a third of my content, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Like, great job.
Yeah.
The rest you get in here and you do the reps. Like, it's literally exactly like the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
See, I'm telling you.
yeah. Like maybe 2 workouts a month. I'm like, whoa, like really went hard, crushed it, like rocked that. A lot of them, you guys they're challenging. They're like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. And it will turn you into an absolute like networking ninja. It will turn you into like an incredible speaker. Somebody who's able to not only talk and fill space when needed, but can also deeply listen and manage a conversation. You're going to learn how to do sales. You're going to learn how to close people. You're going to learn what motivates people, what drives them. You're going to like be so compassionate. There's so many things that you are about to get a masterclass if you're thinking of starting a podcast. It's so not about like, I would do this for free because I have.
Yeah.
I will continue to do this for free. Because I'll have a bad day, Kristina, and all of a sudden I'm like sitting in a like across from you, you know, and I just remember my why. It's like I remember this is about people. This is about what we're doing together. This is about our biggest vision. This is about helping people reach their biggest dreams. And it's like, that's right. Because people remind you when you're in deep conversation.
And you have no idea like where your podcast is going to land for someone or someone who's going to binge an old episode or like something's going to come up. And it's like, I've had it so many times, Lori, where like people have been like, oh, I was listening to this episode and I actually felt like I was about to give up on my business. And you gave this great tip and it like reminded me I should just keep it going.
Totally.
Like, and I'm like, oh, great. I didn't even know who you are. So that's like very kind that you listen to my podcast. But it's like, it's really about that. And I think like Lori, like we have a mutual connection of someone who was like thinking about taking their life and listen to your podcast.
Yep.
And like they're still here, right?
Yeah.
That's like literally life. I'm like about to eat this mic. That's literally life changing.
Literally.
Like even if you just had that one situation from your 10 years of podcasting, it's all worth it.
That's already everything.
Right. And so I think it's like, you have no idea the impact that you could have on someone. And I think this with events. I think this was like even like, you know, Mentor Collective, like it's the questions people are asking, they're getting this like real-time advice. They're in it, right? Like a lot of the people who are in Mentor Collective, they're in it in their business, right? They're trying to scale past 500K. They're grinding, they're hustling, they're doing the thing. And maybe they're not seeing results until they get in that room. And then they get all these people who are cheering them on and supporting them and accountability and your mentorship. And it's like, that makes all the difference. And so it's the same thing with podcasting where it's like, keep it going, keep trying. Like, and your first episodes, you might get 10 downloads and 2 of them might be your parents.
Yeah, exactly. And the rest your friends.
Yeah. Message me if you're under 10 downloads. I'll download you. But like, it's just, I think it's really just about, you know, seeing the long vision for your business. And anyone I think who listens to your podcast and who's in your community, I think would resonate with this is that, yes, we do this for money, right? Like, you know, it's nice to buy things, but your dogs need treats.
They really do.
Yeah, they do. But ultimately, like what we're doing is purpose. And what an amazing way that we get to share our purpose with people, where they get to listen to us in their earbuds when they're driving their kids to school, when they're like even I think about, you know, Chris, like I was in such a vulnerable season of my life, right? I'm working a 9 to 5 I don't love. I have this side hustle that's booming. I'm from an immigrant family. I'm a first generation Canadian. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And I can't leave all that behind to do social media. And I'm listening to this person telling me anything's possible, like listening to your family story, listening to like the things that changed for you guys when you believed in yourselves, how much that poured belief into me. And now I get the opportunity to pour belief through High Vibe Women, through my clients, into other people. This all came from a podcast.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, believe that this is possible for you too, no matter if it's 10 downloads or 10,000.
I mean, I remember so much of this started because I listened to Lewis Howes' podcast. I mean, like it started everything for me because I would go on my runs and I would just listen over and over, and Gabby Bernstein too, those two, like over and over and over and over again. And that literally gave me the life and the path to be able to do all of this, which then, nobody knows the impact you're about to create. So I'm excited for everybody listening. I love the fact that we get to work together in Mentor Collective Mastermind as well.
Yes.
So you also coach people in there and everybody's obsessed with you.
Oh, so sweet.
No, I'm just being honest.
Aww.
I'm a Sagittarius. So.
Yeah. If you weren't obsessed with me, you would tell me.
I would.
Yeah.
You would.
Not on the podcast live.
You wouldn't. You just. I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah. My husband's a Sagittarius too. I know.
Yeah, you just don't say anything. You're just like,
I'm like, what do you think of this dress? He's like, it's on. I'm like, okay.
It's on. Got it. Changing. Got it. But also you have your businesses too.
Yeah.
So tell me about how we can work with you.
Oh, so sweet. Yeah. So obviously, we've got High Vibe Women, which is our events company, and we run our events. We have an online community as well, which Lori just taught it and absolutely slayed. So many people are using the term informed girlfriend now all the time. They're like, so Lori was talking about the informed girlfriend theory. I'm like, I don't think it's a theory. This is not published anywhere. So yeah, you're gonna have to trademark this soon. But yeah, so we've got High Vibe Women, which is an amazing community. We have an event March 7th in Burlington, Ontario. But and then I've got the Social Snippet, which is where we do done for you social media and done for you podcasting. We've got about 90 clients now, which is amazing. It's grown so much over the years, which has been awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's the best. It's so cool. And it's like, I've seen people really grow, which is the best part of it for me, is that like we have original day one clients that have been with us for 5 years. And like, so being with them, being part of their journey has been absolutely amazing. So those are kind of my two ventures, but you can also find me in the Mentor Collective, where I get to coach on all things social, all things podcasting, supporting Melissa with marketing, like in terms of like, because people get to ask so many like questions and they're always like, how does email marketing? I'm like, that's not me, that's Melissa. But it's so great to be able to collaborate, and the questions people ask in there are so amazing. But that's a great place for people to get both of us.
It's very true.
Very fun.
True. I know. So fun. Well, I had so much fun talking to you on this podcast. Next time you're in America, come back.
Yeah, likewise. I'm honored to be here, of course. And maybe we'll bring Allie with me next time. But no, I'm just so honored, Lori. And like, you guys are just such a big part of my story. And so anytime you ask me to do literally anything, I'll do it. So I'm here. But
noted.
Noted. You need a kidney, I'm there. But I'm just so grateful for you. And I know that your impact journey is just the beginning. I'm just part of the little chicken nuggets there.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you. Truly. You guys go find her, go follow her. She is a living, breathing, walking example of exactly like how you will be successful, and you will be successful for the rest of your life because of how you are and the value that you add. So thanks again.
Oh, Lori, thank you so much. Cry.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye. Kermit the Frog.